Fabrica is a contemporary arts organisation and gallery whose home is this amazing 200-year-old former church. And even though we've been here for over 25 years, we knew only bits and pieces about the life of the building before we took it over in 1996. In 2018, we embarked on a volunteer research project supported by the National Lottery Heritage Fund, with an aim to discover, record and share the complete history of the space.
So the research project, If These Walls Could Talk, was a 3-year project at Fabrica, learning about the building that we're in, which is called the Holy Trinity Church.
And for the culmination of it, we've published a beautiful book with the same name, which explores the building's evolution through its people, architecture and craftsmanship.
We had all sorts of training. We went out to the Keep, which is the Brighton Records office, and we were taught how to research using the catalogues there. I decided to research the beautiful white marble font. The only information about it was the name of the person to whom it was dedicated, which happened to be Smith, which isn't easy as a name to do any research about. To my amazement, I suddenly found something in the documentation of Hoe Cemetery. And then I wanted to find out more about this lovely thing, the actual creator of the marble. I managed to find out that there was a large family firm of monumental masons in the Lewis Road. They were called the Bennets. And then looking at a photographic archive, I found the picture of their monumental yard and showroom. And I have to say, when you get these little treasures, you realise it's become quite addictive. And so warning to anybody thinking of doing research, beware, you can spend the rest of your life doing this.
Out of all the research that we did, someone who stands out for me is Matilda Dix. It's who was a young person who used to come into the church quite often, and Robertson, who's I think influential in his legacy as well, in keeping the church going. But she decided that she would learn shorthand so that she could actually record his sermons, and they were then published and went all over the world. Even people like Queen Victoria was influenced. I don't even know if she knew how influential it was, but I think the fact that we're here now doing this is basically, if she hadn't have done that, then I don't think we would be doing this now.
Another item in the building that I particularly researched was the clock. And the clock was positioned so that the preacher could see it, but the audience could not, unless they awkwardly craned their necks round, which meant it was very obvious they were checking the time. And we found that it was made by a local clocksmith who had also produced work for George IV in the pavilion. Well, the book has a wonderful tale to tell about the past 200 years of a building in Brighton that's been very well used throughout that period by lots of people, and some of their stories are included in the book. Lots of images of the building itself, of things in the building, of some of the people who used it, stories of their lives. I mean, it's just amazing, and I'm so proud that I was one of the people involved in creating it.
It's a great resource for Fabrica and for all of our volunteers, and it's something that all of the volunteers that contributed to should be incredibly proud of. We poured hours of research together, and they shaped the book. They shaped the way that the story was told and who we looked at and why we looked at it, what was interesting. They really made that book, along with our writer, what it is, and it's a real work of art.
Well, I think I've gained quite a lot of understanding about the role that the church played in its community, because it was far more than just the purely religious aspect, although that was important, but it was also a place for social gatherings of all sorts. People came together and they learnt things and experienced things here that they enjoyed, and so they came back the next week. So it was a real focus, this place, and it's lovely to see that it still is. So its function just continues, which I think is brilliant.
I had this theory that knowing what's gone on before and the number of people that have come in and gone, it was a very vibrant place, and I'm sure a lot of the voices that were talked about, shouted, sung in here, the prayers that were sung, they're actually in the walls, and you can actually stand in the middle of this building and if it's very quiet, I'm sure you can hear those voices coming through. And also I hope that people, if they do read the book, will hear those voices as well.
I really think that the heritage of the building is what makes the building Fabrica to this day, and we can gain inspiration from this building, from the craftsmanship of the stained glass window to the enigmatic preachers and the sermons that they delivered. Learning about all of that enables us to walk through this building with fresh eyes.
The reason this place didn't fall into disrepair was because the people really wanted it to succeed. And now that we've got Fabrica here, I think it's brilliant.
So I think it's very much that Fabrica has taken it forward into the 21st century in a way that perhaps couldn't have been envisaged in the late 80s, when it was just a sort of ruined monument to the past. But now it's a very vibrant community asset, and that's because of Fabrica.